What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the GoodeBaker Podcast. I'm Nick Baker. Across from me, Shane Good.
Yo.
And we are here to talk to you about some video games, and holy crap, do we have a lot to talk about this week. We have the Xbox Series X was announced. There were countless trailers for some crazy, crazy games, State of Plays, Game Awards.
Yeah.
But first, what have we been playing this week?
Well, beginning of the week, League of Legends, normal, pretty normal.
Yeah.
Weekend, Friday, 3 p.m., I immediately arise to PoE's Metamorphosis League.
Yeah. So you've been hitting that pretty hard.
Yeah, I'm level 80. I've got the weirdest fucking build. I kind of just hopscotched a build together last minute because I just didn't feel like doing
That's a term.
too much. Yeah. You should see what I did.
It's a lot like hopscotch.
I'm playing a Bane build, which is a DOT build that is based around chaos damage.
Anything to do with Bane from Batman?
No, the skill, I always wish that it did. The name of the gem is called Bane.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's like an AoE that applies curses, so it's kind of a...
So the Metamorphosis, what big changes has that made to PoE?
So 2 big changes. Changed to the base game, as well as like it came with this as an update, but it changed to the base game where they completely changed the original way that they did mapping. Now when you get to endgame, mapping is like done in sections, and you have to level up like sections of your atlas instead of just like picking and choosing what you want to do.
Yeah.
So that's different. Still figuring it out. It's really strange. It's not bad. It's just different. So trying to figure out like what a good strategy is for the atlas now. But Metamorphosis League is a customize your own boss or create your own boss league. So as you're killing things in the map, you get body parts, and once you collect the 5 different types of body parts, you get to create a boss with those body parts.
Nice.
And each, like, the boss has like 5 different metamorphoses that it like switch between. So, like, it can switch between, like, different pieces of, like, the body parts that you killed. So if you killed from the boss and you got a body part, then it can switch to the boss for, like, a period of time. But it can also switch to, like, if you killed, like, a really weak enemy and, like, you got a body part, you could throw that in there, too, just to kind of, like, soften up the boss a little bit, you know?
She's like, this is the easy part.
Yeah. So, like, that... It's pretty cool. I like the mechanic a lot. They're trying to slow the game down a lot because they don't have content for the PoE Chapter 2 out yet, and they won't until like next year.
Wow.
So they're trying to slow the game down to make the game kind of like take a little longer for people to kind of get to the end game and to beat. They also, I don't know the exact numbers, but I think they at least doubled or tripled almost all of the boss's HPs, and they added extra phases. So leveling was like leveling for the first time again, because I was like, yep, dodge this ability, he's gonna smack down there, where'd that fucking laser beam come from?
Yeah, no, I'm dead. Yeah.
So it was kind of fun. Also a little irritating, but...
Well, awesome.
What have you been playing?
Yeah, not a ton. I've been kind of dabbling in Madden. It's kind of the tail end of the regular season of football, so
it is.
I got that thirst again. I finished Star Wars and Pokemon, so I've kind of been in like a dead zone of games.
Yep.
At this point, I've been trying to go back to Death Stranding. I haven't worked up the courage to like dive back into that yet. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm kind of waiting for that Christmas rush of games. Like,
oh yeah,
I usually get like 1 or 2. Then I'm like, all right, this will tide me over until next year. But
until Cyberpunk 2020.
Yeah, so nothing on that front. But man, do we have a lot to talk about for the future? Because we're gonna start with the Sony State of Play. Tuesday, the Sony State of Play released all kinds of cool information.
A lot of shit
about
a lot of stuff.
What's coming up in the next year for PlayStation. First of which is Untitled Goose Game, which actually is set to release
it releases in 2 days.
Yeah, 17th. So
yeah,
that's pretty cool for people that really enjoyed that game.
That game was fantastic.
Multi-platform.
Yeah, I can't wait for more story for that game.
So what? To what extent did this story get to?
Are you not familiar with the Untitled Goose?
All right. Let me get back to this.
All right.
I'm familiar for sure. I've seen all the gameplay. I've seen him harassing that poor farmer. So that's the main draw, and I've now seen what I expect is the main crux of the game, where you're kind of swimming down this little river and dropping all the things that you steal into this little collection area.
That kind of has nothing to do with the game at all.
Really? Is it just like memeing at that point?
It's 100%. All those items have like a very particular. Well, not all of them, but a lot of those items have like particular things. It's like, it's like the perfect like cute 3D puzzle game, because like you have all these things. You have a list like that's like, you know, you're a duck. Go figure out how to get a man's glasses off. Go figure it out. Like it's just like a cool little puzzle game. I like little puzzles.
That's pretty cool. But next up was Spellbreak. Spellbreak has been in open or closed. It's been in a beta state on PC for a little bit, but now it's coming to PlayStation in spring 2020 as a closed beta.
Oh wow.
I don't know exactly how you are going to get access to that, so I guess keep in touch with the Spellbreak developers on Twitter.
Usually to get into the closed betas, you go to the website and you sign up and you receive a code.
Right.
That would probably be how you would do it.
I imagine that they probably said something along those lines in the state of play. I just wasn't paying attention that much.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dreams finally got a release date. That is awesome. The create your own game tool generator or whatever that PlayStation's been trying to develop for the last,
forever.
7 years, I think. Ever since the PS4 was launched, I heard rumors about this game. And Media Molecule finally has figured out a release date, and it's coming out on Valentine's Day of all days. And
if you don't have anybody, now you have something.
Now you got some dreams. You can make your own girlfriend in Dreams, or boyfriend, or
whatever you want.
Untitled Goose. Superliminal was the next one announced. This is like a perspective puzzle game where
this looks so cool.
Yeah, it is a really cool idea, and I think this is exactly the type of puzzle game that will get me like invested in a puzzle game, because they're like number puzzle games, and I'm not like a math guy, so I'm not like super into that, like Sudoku style math games.
Yeah.
Or physics puzzles are fun to an extent, but this seems like a completely different idea, ballpark of a puzzle game where you're just like moving in, moving out, like putting things in certain places and kind of angling them. I love that about like early Zelda dungeons, like Ocarina of Time. You had to like look at perspectives of things, and it made sense once you were in that right perspective.
Definitely looks really entertaining. I'm not gonna lie, I think I would like to get this game, get a group of people drunk, and see how far you can get in it. Because this seems like the type of game that you would just...
It would break down so fast.
You'd either get, like, somebody would pick it up and be like, I know what I'm doing. Yeah. Or somebody would pick it up and be like,
there are some drunk friends in our friend group that would be, like, savants at that, and then there would be some that just fall flat on their face.
True statements.
Might be one of the latter. So then this next one is a really interesting VR title that PlayStation's coming out with called Paper Beast. It's really odd. It's this really strange VR world where these origami horses are running around, and I don't really understand what you're going to do in the game, but it does look like an interesting experience.
Dude, it showed you.
Did it show?
Were you not paying attention?
I clearly just don't pay attention at all to these things.
Jeez, dude. Okay, easy. Okay, so Beast, right? You taking care of them. Right. They're like your pets.
So how do you feed a paper beast?
With ink.
Ink. You draw on them, and it just soaks into their skin. They call it good on that. No,
it's it's a super weird looking game. I like the creativity of it. I'd like to say that game probably is going to be puzzle related.
I assume, just because, PSVR games, the good ones always have some sort of like really cool like interactive puzzle element. I think like Trover Saves the Universe is the first one that comes to mind as like one of the ones that I've heard is really, really good. I don't have a PSVR yet, but these growing number of kind of interesting or cool looking titles are kind of enticing me more and more to try and get that. And PlayStation 5 is going to support it, so I guess it's kind of future proofed in that way too.
Why not just get a computer, though?
You know, I did think about that. I thought about getting the Oculus because it does. Yeah, that's me. Sorry.
I was like, what?
I don't even know what that is.
That's our fantasy football notification.
I'm about to get trashed. So yeah, Paper Beast's really, really interesting. Doesn't quite get me over the edge to get a PSVR quite yet. I don't think, just because it's so ambiguous for me.
Yes.
But Dreams, on the other hand, I think that has a VR component to it. That might be cool to check out and keep an eye on those VR sales because they have been crazy. And I think at one point there was a VR package with the Move controllers and everything for like $199, and it came with like 3 games. Yeah,
they're trying to just give it away.
Well, we're gonna keep waiting.
Yo.
So. Personal excitement on this next one, and I say excitement. I think anytime I mention Kingdom Hearts at this point, I'm going to be a little excited just because of nostalgia. But it's soured for me a little bit with the ending of Kingdom Hearts 3. But this DLC pack that they're coming out with does seem to be tying up some loose ends.
It did, and
hopefully, it kind of satiates that feeling that I have in the pit of my stomach that it's not quite finished yet. Like they promised that the whole whatever they're calling this saga, like the Organization 13 saga of these games was going to be finished and over by the end of the game. And a little bit of spoiler alert, it's not by the end of the game. You end up fighting whatever Xehanort, and you defeat him. Becomes a good guy. Terrible.
Terrible.
You smoked Ansem in the first game, but you don't even like come close to killing this old man. Like, finish him,
dude.
Foot on the throat, guys. Come on.
You know how this works. The older you get, the more powerful you've become.
Yeah. Anime logic. He was totally powerful, but for some reason the dumbass that is Sora just stumbles his way through all of the worlds of Disney and becomes more powerful than anyone could ever imagine. But anyway, moving on. That has a release date of January 23rd now, so that's cool. That'll be a little stopgap for me for the next month. But moving on even quicker.
Oh snap!
Predator Hunting Grounds is coming to PS4 and PC on April 24th. It has a release date finally.
Yeah.
And yes, it does look cool, dude. I love 80s action movies and 80s horror too. And this is from the team that did Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
So that asymmetrical multiplayer that they're so good at, I thought. Well, I mean, the game itself was kind of buggy, but the actual gameplay of it and the mode that you played against Jason was so fun. I had so much fun with that, and when it was free for PS Plus, I played that till the dogs came home. This one looks like it's going to be far more polished for one thing.
Yeah,
Predator
it really
looks terrifying and fun to play, and Predator is like 3 times the size of any of the actual like player characters, soldiers or whatever that you're playing as the other players. Oh man. This looks really good.
It looks pretty cool. Obviously, like, they didn't show like anything new from this.
Yeah, they kind of tweaked a few of the game's UIs like since the last time we've seen it. But it's basically the same as we've seen it before. But it looks good, I think.
Here's what I think about that though, really quick.
Sure.
I think that because it doesn't look ridiculously different, drastically different, it doesn't look real, like, I think that the game was already probably pretty polished for what they wanted, and what they've been doing are just mechanical changes, server changes, which shows like they're confident in their work, in my opinion. So I'm excited to see like if this game is more polished. I also played the Freddy game a little bit because it was free for that month, and Deborah downloaded it, and it was kind of funny to watch. But
it is such a hilarious game. I think that now that I think back on it, they had to stop working on the game because they lost the rights, or the rights were taken back from them or something like that for Friday the 13th, so they couldn't create any more content than what had already been released for PC.
Really?
So when they brought it to PS4, they couldn't add anything more or tweak anything. Or I don't even think... it seems like they couldn't really dive deep into the game and really fix a lot of the big problems that it had. They just had to kind of send it as it was and band-aid the problems that they could until it eventually kind of fell out of favor with everyone. But with this one, if they're able to keep that license, they're going to be able to pour a bunch of great content into it, get you all kinds of different predators that you can be, maybe even throw Alien in there at one point or another. Like, there's so many crazy things that they could do with that universe because they've played with it in the cinematics so much that I'm excited no matter what.
Yeah, the game looks tit.
Oh, yeah. So, from Predator Hunting Grounds, we're moving on to the Square Enix and Platinum Games title that they teased last year, or earlier this year, I think. Babylon's Fall. And this one looked a little rough around the edges that I thought. It's kind of like what I would describe as a Devil May Cry meets Dark Souls type look and feel. Do you see this one?
I saw it, but I didn't really like...
Yeah, it's pretty hack and slashy, it seems.
Yeah.
It looks like it's kind of going back step a little bit from the progress that I think a lot of these action games have made with the addition of the difficulty of like a Dark Souls type, where this one seems like it's more about flashy animations and sometimes the fun, like Devil May Cry 5 got rave reviews at the beginning of the year. It looked like it was a great game. It's still backlogged for me, but
I don't know if I'll ever play that, but yeah.
I heard it was great, and it's on the same engine as Resident Evil 2 Remake, and that engine is gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I played the hell out of that game. I've talked that game to death already.
That's fair.
More news about the Resident Evil series coming up.
Truth?
But, as far as Babylon's Fall goes, Square Enix and Platinum Games, that's like a match made in heaven for me, because I love Square Enix games. Final Fantasy, definitely one of my favorite franchises. Platinum Games is known best for... remaking some of the classic titles like Shadow of the Colossus most recently. So they have a good track record, but this thing needs some polish. And
is there a release date for it?
No,
I don't remember.
They did say, which makes me feel a hell of a lot better. They didn't. In any other case, I would have been like, release date, but they did say that there's more information coming this summer. So I imagine that it'll either be late this year or early next year. Late 2020, early 2021. I got to stop.
Yo,
it's December.
Next year, man.
Yeah.
It's next year.
Everything's next year. Damn, we only have 2.5 weeks left.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Star Wars is this week. We can't get off topic.
It's true. We've got too much.
Too much. Anyway, next. One of the highlights of the State of Play for me, definitely highlight of the Game Awards. I think they showed a little bit more there too. But Resident Evil 3 Remake was officially announced after all the leaks and all the bullshit that came out like a week ago.
I was going to say, you mean it wasn't officially announced when everybody officially leaked everything about it?
Yeah, exactly. So, damn, did they announce a release date? I didn't roll down a release date, but they announced that the Resistance multiplayer, the asymmetrical multiplayer they talked about, was actually coming as a pack-in with it. So they're going to be together. And as a $60 package, if that multiplayer game is anything to speak of, I think it's going to be a hell of a deal. So let me just
usually multiplayer games on massive console titles like that are usually pretty entertaining, so... For $60, you get to play the remastered version.
So April 3rd, 2020. Stupid me didn't write that one down. But, man, I'm super excited for that. And that's only like a week and a half before Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah,
so
that's what I was thinking about.
Packed, man. It's going to be so packed. This spring's going to be lit.
If by packed you mean, hand me $70. Okay. Hand me $80. Okay.
Money. We're gonna be so broke. Like next year's ridiculous.
I know where my tax refund's coming.
You spent all your money this year rebuilding your computer. I'm going to be spending all my money next year getting that new console, all these games. Like, we're just some broke sons of bitches.
It's true.
Anyway, the last thing that they announced at the Sony State of Play was actually a tease for our next topic. Ghost of Tsushima gets a big tease, and
that was a cool little tease.
The little tease was awesome, and we might as well just talk about the full trailer because we're going to talk about it in the Game Awards. But the whole trailer with the orchestra behind the Game Awards orchestra behind them, and the just look of the game, it looks really polished. The gameplay looks really smooth. It gave me like Assassin's Creed, like Sekiro vibes.
Yeah.
What did you think initially of the trailer?
So, I immediately thought it was that game when they showed it. I was like, "Is this?" Yeah. Oh. And then I wish that there was, because I only watched the State of Play, like the full State of Play, and then I watched the trailer separately. So when I watched the State of Play, and they just gave me a little tease, and I was like, "What?" Yeah. There isn't a full trailer here, and I had to look it up.
If they didn't like immediately put behind that trailer like more information at Game Awards, I would have been so mad, dude. Yeah, I think everybody would have just flipped their wig because we've been waiting a really long time for Sucker Punch to give us more information about this game, and
it looks so good.
Yeah, and it's what a lot of people were asking of Assassin's Creed for a long time, to go to like a feudal Japan type of environment and really play in that world.
You mean a world where swords actually are the weapon of choice?
Right, and katanas are like one of the coolest looking swords in my opinion, and like, that's such a cool aesthetic to just have your main character have just a katana that he wields, and he's throwing these smoke bombs, and that's another one of the highlights from that trailer for me was that cool combat scenario where he just throws that flash bomb, and immediately I think he like rolls out of the way. It looked so fluid and cinematic that I'm just so excited. They announced a release window for summer 2020. I think that puts it right in the right spot for it to really succeed. If it comes out in like late June, right after E3, I think everybody will get hyped. They'll throw a new trailer in there. I don't know what Sony's actually going to be doing for E3. They haven't announced anything at all.
Well, they usually don't until like February, right?
Last year by this time they had announced that they weren't doing a PSX and they weren't coming to E3. And they were going to start doing the information drops in State of Plays like they have been doing. But
that can't happen this year.
So what I imagine that they're going to do is, instead of having a PSX, or they might even have a PSX, but instead of like blowing it out on like State of Plays and PSX, I think they will eventually come down to terms and figure out a time that they can get in there at E3. I don't know if they're able to get their old time slot back from Square Enix or not, but it's PlayStation 5 season, and I think that they need as many eyes on that as possible.
PlayStation 5, this is one finger, my thumb's permanently stuck like this. PlayStation 5 and Last of Us 2. Like, they're hugging.
Love.
Yeah. So they have to do something.
Yeah, I imagine that they'll make their triumphant return just because it'd be such good publicity for them, and it would really bring hype back to E3 that was kind of stripped from it this year. It was good, but Sony being there really makes it feel like home.
It does.
But that is the State of Play. Now we're going to move on to the even bigger topics. I don't even know what. Jeez, we got to make a sprint through this one.
We're cooking.
Oh yeah, that's not about as bad as I thought. So the Game Awards was awesome. I thought that it was the best one that they've had so far. They had some lukewarm announcements, but they also had bangers, like our first topic, Xbox Series X. Man, they threw out the Scarlet name. Here we go. This is the next gen console.
Xbox Series X?
Series X. Now, I think that the reason that they went with that is because they have the X connotation now with the Xbox One X.
Right.
And they don't want to... They want to bring all those consoles together as a family. So now having the Series blah, they can just re-connotate the Xbox to Xbox Series S or Xbox Series X or Xbox Series XX or whatever they're going to call it.
Wait.
Their naming convention has been atrocious since the very first Xbox. Xbox 360 didn't really make a whole lot of sense. Xbox One.
It was a fucking circle.
What?
In the center of the controller.
Oh,
that was a circle.
You could say that about all the buttons.
That's not true. The square is fucking not circular.
No. All right. But anyway, I was super pumped. The trailer that they had for it, the voiceover.
Yeah.
Man, he's like, imagine if you could dream 1,000 dreams in one night. But then those dreams weren't dreams at all. I was like, yeah, I'm in. Man, I'm not even an Xbox guy. I'm in. I looked at that and I was like, wow. But then I looked at the console and I was like, oof.
Not the prettiest thing ever. And then I looked at the specs and was like, wait a second, my computer's already better than this.
Yeah, and that's to be expected. We expected it was going to be kind of a benchmark that made sense for a price point that made sense for a console.
Yeah.
But considering what they're toting as far as the specs that they've already released, I think it's fair to say that it's going to be a pretty beefy upgrade from even the X. And also... it glows green on the top, so that's the only thing that really drew from it, and I was like, that's kind of cool. And then people immediately were like, "Can we put it on its side?" I'm like, I want to see the green. Granted, you can see it, but I'm tall. I'm right over that thing. I see the green all the time. It'd be pretty sweet, I think, unless it turns like some other stupid color.
I hope for your sake, PlayStation 5 has RGB.
Yeah, man.
I hope it does. Just for you.
Colors are like colored lights and shit. Just make consoles way cooler. Just my opinion. When the PlayStation 4 came out and the little bar down the center like turned blue and then orange, I'm like, oh yeah, all right, this is a new fucking new era.
A new.
Never had lights on my controller. Well, other than those stupid battery lights, and who liked those?
Truth.
DualShock 3 sucked. Anyway, so yeah, Xbox Series X, dope. Moving on, though, they also announced back-to-back with that their, I don't know if it's going to be a launch title, but they did announce Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, and I never played Senua's Sacrifice, the first Hellblade, but had rave reviews. IGN blew it up with all kinds of coverage, and I imagine it's probably a pretty good game from the opinions that I've heard.
Definitely with reading it, it seemed interesting.
The trailer,
also never played it.
The trailer was off-putting at first. The main character, which coincidentally is one of the I think developers or something. The actress herself is one of the developers for the game, and she did such a great job with the first one that now they're really just focusing a series on her. And
yeah,
the faces she makes in this trailer.
Yeah,
I'm like, whoa. Oof. It's like, I don't know if they're going for like horror, but
kind of,
it might be there.
Kinda?
It might be right up there.
Walk around a corner, get scared.
Good news that Ninja Theory is so far ahead on on a title for the Xbox. It's obviously going to be an exclusive, first exclusive from Ninja Theory for them. A lot of people were super pumped when that logo came up. They were like, yeah. Heard all the people in the audience. But onto another title that a lot of people really didn't expect and is also kind of a strange naming convention. Bravely Default 2 was announced for 2020, and if you don't know, Square Enix released Bravely Default and Bravely Second, and that's a series of like
Bravely Second?
Yeah, I'll get to that in a second.
Okay, all right.
It's like an offshoot of Final Fantasy. It has like Final Fantasy vibes with this. All the spells are different names. There's different monsters, things like that. So it's like a JRPG, but in a different universe. which is kind of cool. And Square Enix is good at JRPGs.
Yeah,
so
they know what they're doing. Wow.
I played Bravely Default. It's a really hard word to say. Like, Bravely...
It's just a weird, like...
Anyway. I've had too much coffee today.
Evidently.
Maybe that's it. Bravely Default...
As you drink coffee.
...was pretty good. I only got, like, halfway through it. It was a DS game, so I was off and on with the DS. It was...
Yeah.
Anyway, but Bravely Second I didn't play. Paul, the Pokemon guru, told me that it was great. He loves that series. He finished both of them. And so now Bravely Default 2, not the second.
Yeah.
But the third game in the series with the second in naming convention, but not the second.
I wonder if it has
2.
to do with, like it's in between. Did it say if it was in between 2 and 1?
It's
or
just
the second
a
and
real vague trailer that shows some in-game...
I didn't see this trailer.
In-engine sprites of the characters that I assume you'll be running through the campaign with.
Did anybody stand up and just yell, why? Why the name?
No, I don't think the game... I don't think anybody really understood, because I don't think anybody really remembered Bravely Default until the very end when they were like, oh, wow, this looks a lot like Final Fantasy. It's Bravely Default, too. Wait, wasn't there a... No, yeah, all right. So we spent too much time on this already, because the next thing on our list is Godfall, PS5 launch title, and it's supposedly coming to Epic Games Store for PC, too.
Yeah.
It's what they describe as a looter slasher.
Okay.
So
I like loot and slashing.
From what I assume, it must be a Destiny-like with melee weapons, which the melee weapons in Destiny were actually kind of cool. So I'm into that. No word yet on the perspective. I'm not sure if they've put that out there yet. I don't think any really details of the game have come out other than just the CGI trailer or whatever. But they kind of look like Kingdom Hearts characters, in my opinion, with like the weird armor from Birth by Sleep.
It was whatever. Like the bubbly, like kind of just strange made.
But at the same time, the CGI and the graphics of it all, like the explosions and the wind and all that, looks really, really cool. I don't know what to think of it yet, but I loved seeing the PlayStation 5 logo.
You know what this means, right?
Period. What's that mean?
PlayStation 5 title. PC title. Releasing together.
Yeah.
Crossplay. Which means I wouldn't be surprised if most multiplayer things on the PS5 are crossplay.
I think that's really what they've been setting up these last few months, especially now where it's pretty much open season for anybody that wants crossplay to throw that application at Sony, and Sony will probably, given a few hoops to jump through, I'm sure, will let you do crossplay with your games. And if PlayStation 5 sets out on that foot with a launch title that's crossplay with PC, I mean, it's an exclusive for now, but it might be, cross-platform down the line, or maybe a sequel like Titanfall, where they bring everybody together, and that'd be really cool too.
That would be.
But exciting stuff. But the next one's really confusing because I had no idea what the hell this was. I thought it was like they released the first-person Blair Witch game a little while ago, I think in October sometime.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. PlayerUnknown announced a strange new title that they have in development. All that you kind of got from it was a big title that said Prologue and some like panning of what looks like a first-person camera, and
didn't even understand it.
I have no idea what this is going to be about.
I didn't even understand it.
Yeah, like this coming from PlayerUnknown, it really, don't have any idea what to expect from this.
Quick story: when we used to play PUBG, we used to, every time the game would crash or would make some ridiculous bug, or it wouldn't load in, and you'd get stuck in the floor, and somebody would just walk up to you and hit you with a pan. Every time, we would always be like, small indie company, they'll fix it. And that became the joke. And we just kept saying, small indie company, as they grew to be like $1 million company. And now when the game fucking doesn't work, we just don't play it again. So
and we're done.
I'm not sure. Not sure about this one.
Yeah, I mean it's up in the air because of the like flash in the pan success of PlayerUnknown, and that's putting it like pretty brutally. I think PUBG is still popular enough with people that their player count very, very minimal compared to what it was maybe 2 years ago, but you know,
I mean,
they're doing all right.
Yeah, they're not like, you know.
Fortnite totally ate their lunch, but they got like an apple left.
I mean, Shroud doesn't even play PUBG anymore. He switched completely to Escape from Tarkov. He basically just plays that until he gets his.
I haven't watched any of Shroud's Escape from Tarkov. I watched a little bit of his Call of Duty, and like I was like, all right, so I'm not gonna play Call of Duty.
He still needs a fucking elbow surgery, and he's playing like that. Dude, that man is insane.
He won with the Streamies on Saturday night. He won Streamer of the Year.
Did he?
Yeah.
Dude's pretty chill.
Yeah.
He's like one of the like 10 people that like I watch as streamers that I would like. I'd love to be that dude.
It might not have been
He's pretty
Streamer
chill.
of the Year. I think the Streamer of the Year was the new Fortnite kid there. Booga, yeah. Booga.
He got Streamer of the Year?
Yeah. And Ninja's backing him or something. Like Ninja was like all excited about it.
I mean, he just has to be excited and be like happy about everything though, because if he's not, then
he was a
people
presenter
just, like,
at the Streamies, which was kind of cool.
That's really interesting because I would have thought that it would have been held by Twitch, and they have.
Yeah, I mean, all these things are. I mean, it was a big YouTube thing, which I have no idea, but.
But anyways.
Yeah. Maybe we'll be there one day.
Maybe.
One day. Oh, we have 17 subscribers now. Did you see that?
Oh shit.
Yeah, one more.
Oh, damn.
We're fucking growing. Anyway, so PlayerUnknown, weird. Onto a little bit more familiar territory for you, at least, is the Ruined King League of Legends story announced by I think it's by Riot Forge. It's the label that they're putting over some indie companies that they're trying to collect to make these campaign stories. So what do you think about that? Have you played it? I guess there have been previous stories in the League of Legends world. Have you played those, and what do you think of this one?
So, from my understanding, they're not like they're like cinema stories. They're not playable. But they're like
I think this is a game at this
right.
point,
so the ones that have come out with characters. So like the characters that have been created, like the character that just came out of Philios. A lot of Feely jokes about him, by the way.
Solid.
But the like Aphelios just came out and like he had like a big cinematic trailer and like a bunch of fun stuff. But like when I watched the highlights, this wasn't even in there. And it kind of makes me sad because I missed everything about it.
If you watch like highlights of any of these shows that are on IGN, you just better buckle up for some consoles, man, because they're not going to mention a lot about the PC stuff. But I wanted to, weed through. I watched the whole show, so I kind of picked out a few things from the PC side of things, and a few things that I thought were cool that don't necessarily connotate exactly with console. Yeah, but it was a really console-based show.
I'm gonna look into that one.
Yeah,
and I'll get back to like what it's gonna look like, because as you know, I play a shit ton of League of Legends. I have thousands of hours in that game.
Exactly why I included it.
That's fair.
So the next thing I have here on the list was the Ghost of Tsushima stuff.
Yes,
but we talked about that already. So we're moving on to Final Fantasy VII Remake got a new trailer.
It did.
That focused a lot on Cloud.
It actually looks pretty fucking cool.
Man. The voice actor that they got for Cloud, I think, is perfect. Exactly what I expect. I'm not sure whether or not it's from the same voice actor from Advent Children, the guy that did Advent Children, but I do believe it's the same guy that did his voice in the Kingdom Hearts games. And I loved that voice in those games as well. So, yeah, it's more kind of the same. It just shows a few different perspectives on some things that we've seen before. But again, it's just any trailer that I see of this game, even if it's the same one over and over again with like a new clip I'm just gonna be more and more hyped for it. So
That's fair. I mean, it is Final Fantasy VII.
yeah, one of my favorite games of all time. As it stands, like with visual and like all the crap that you have to deal with in that game in its original state, I can only imagine with the polish of a whole from ground up remake how good it's going to be. Anthony's super excited about this game too, and he'll be on to talk about it when it gets closer.
Yeah, because you guys are big Final Fantasy buffs.
Yeah,
both of you are.
Oh yeah.
If they, if they would ever release remasters on PC, I'd probably replay it. But I haven't.
There's always
played
Final
it.
Fantasy 14.
There is. I just did a lot of crafting.
Yeah, Abby, dude, you can make a lot of money. Fake money, but
Fake
money. So the next thing, a few musicians were announced for collaborating on the soundtrack for Cyberpunk 2077. They include A$AP Rocky,
Yeah.
Grimes, which Grimes actually played at the Game Awards.
Oh.
And they're pretty cool sound. The visual was strange. The CGI that they did was weird, but and Run of Jewels, which I don't know. I didn't look into that one.
I don't know any of those.
But A$AP Rocky is a big rapper.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, and Grimes is like a techno pop-y band that they sounded really good, and the little trailer that they had for the soundtrack the music that they were playing over it sounded great, and that apparently was one of the songs from Grimes that was included in the game, so pretty pumped for that. Anything Cyberpunk 2077, same thing with Final Fantasy. I just get more and more hyped. So, and
That's
the
fair.
music is going to be one of the pieces of this game I think a lot of people will talk about for a long time. So.
I agree. I mean, especially big titles like this, they take so much time in like every little detail, and then like it kind of reminds me of you remember San Andreas, the radio stations for San Andreas?
Yeah.
Those are like dude, like those still get talked about because they're like they were hilarious,
so good. And they've really nailed it with a lot of the GTA games with the radio stations.
Yeah.
Like not only the songs and the soundtracks on them, but like the little shows that they have in between.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they're so funny.
So like I could see something like that for Cyberpunk, and then like obviously Final Fantasy VII is just gonna have crazy good music.
That's another thing about that trailer. Not to go back too far, but
Yeah.
They had the new symphonic, or I don't know how you would symphonized version.
Symphonized.
Yeah, that's better. Version of the battle music, and battle music by far is one of my favorite themes in that. And, got me so excited. But on to less exciting things, but really exciting for some Xbox fans and PC fans is Gears Tactics. Gets a release date for the 27th of April, 2020. So basically XCOM with Gears of War.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
I used to play something called SOCOM Tactics on PSP, and I loved that game. I played it like so many times through that it was like ridiculous. And I haven't played a game like that since, and that was when I was like 12. So I like that one. I might like this one. It really depends on the price point. If they try and sell me a tactics game that's $60, I'm probably gonna be like,
yeah,
probably not, dude. Probably not.
Fortunately, for a lot of fans of the Gears series, I think it's most assuredly going to be included in the Xbox Game Pass. So you can pay that, whatever it is, $9.99, I think.
Yeah.
They have sales for it, like dollar sales for it all the time. So you probably get the Game Pass pretty cheap if you wanted to try this out. But I think this is one of the Gears games that I might actually be interested in because cover-based shooters I like. Mm-hmm. Gears never really grabbed me. I'm not an Xbox guy. I don't usually go that route, but I have played a few of them before. It's just the aesthetic of everything. It's like everything's real dirt, and like it just didn't grab me the way that a very similar game to compare it to, in my opinion, was Army of Two.
Yep.
EA's game.
Army of Two is really fun. I played
like
that game.
It's a parallel in my mind to that game, and I had a lot of fun playing Army of Two.
Yeah.
What was that? PS3? PS3, Xbox 360, I think?
Yeah, I played it on Xbox 360, so...
Yeah, so, yeah.
It was a really fun game, actually. I forgot that game even existed.
Yeah, there was like fucking 3 sequels to that game that weren't any good at all. The first one, it was so short.
I didn't even know there was sequels.
Yeah, there was, the first one, I think, actually had the protagonist from the original game, but the third one just went completely out the door with those guys, and it was like a completely new team. And
oh, shit. Okay.
They messed it all up. Ben will tell you about that. He loves that game. Yeah, so Gears Tactics, it might be the first Gears game that might get me interested if I even find my way onto an Xbox or PC.
I was going to say, if you find your way onto a PC, I'm sure there's plenty of games that we could play together.
Yeah, and XCOM 2?
XCOM 2.
Was free for PlayStation Plus a little while ago, and I have that downloaded. So I think I might try that one out before I even give this one a shot.
XCOM 2, I haven't like played all the way through, but at one point it was free on Steam for a weekend, and I downloaded it. And we all, like my entire friend group that I play with on computer, basically just realized that it's completely numbers based. You could be standing I'm sitting 5 feet from you across this table. Mm-hmm. You could hold a gun to me and have a 60% chance to shoot me and miss every single shot, even though I'm not moving at all. Like, that was the only frustrating piece about that game.
That's a bummer. I do hate when tactics games like that kind of get too in the weeds with... Like,
yeah.
All right, so you're this accurate all the time, no matter what, even if you're like point blank range. It's ridiculous to me.
Yeah,
I think another game that has or had that problem. I'm not too sure because I only played a few hours, but Valkyria Chronicles.
Yep, I also played a couple.
It was like a third person.
Played it on PSP.
And it had that similar problem where you would be like right next to a tank and you have like 20% chance to hit a grenade, and you're like, I'm pretty sure I can just drop this around this tank and we'll be all set, but
yeah,
we'll teach their own. The next thing on the list is actually really interesting to me, just based on past events. Telltale Games finally is revived from the grave by a new management or new owners or what have you, and they are reawakening one of the most popular titles in their series was Wolf Among Us, so they're bringing out Wolf Among Us 2 next year. Hopefully they fix their engine for one thing, because that's a big gripe that a lot of people had.
Yeah, I heard that.
I played Batman the Telltale series, at least the first season of it, and I enjoyed that, but it still had that really chunky engine. It didn't really run super smooth. So if they can fix those problems with this one, a lot of people like that storytelling style. Mm-hmm. It's like watching episodes of a show that you can manipulate yourself, and I think that it's a really cool idea. It was a brilliant idea for The Walking Dead. I think that the Telltale series of that property. Wow. It's getting to the end of this podcast. It's a long day. Was even better than some of the show material. So a lot of the later show material, if you get my drift.
Oh yeah.
So hopefully for those Telltale fans out there, this is really exciting. For me, I could give or take Telltale. I was really upset with how Telltale closed, because a lot of those people lost their jobs, and that's never fun to see. But
yeah, for sure. I mean, it always sucks when you see a development company
hopefully go under. Because from what I hear, a lot of the original team that worked on Wolf Among Us is actually now back with this company.
Oh, that's cool.
And is now back under that same umbrella, working on the same game. So hopefully that means that a lot of those people got their jobs back, and they can move forward with this new title and maybe a new engine and a new life for Telltale.
For sure.
So the last thing on the list was, this was weird. This was an ox sauce to end the Game Awards on for sure.
Super.
Green Day played also, which wasn't ox sauce. It was actually pretty good. Their new song, I didn't even realize it was them. I've heard it on the radio before, and
didn't even realize they made a new song.
Yeah. So Green Day's still doing things, and yeah, Billy Joe looks exactly like Billy Joe looked like 10 years ago.
That sounds about right.
Ages like ketchup. I don't know what that means. Fast and Furious Crossroads was announced by none other than Michelle Rodriguez herself, and then Vin Diesel himself came out on stage and awkwardly said that this might have been the first time he's seen this trailer, and might have been planned that way because.
Yeah, if he had seen it before, I don't know if he would have gone out on stage.
This had some PS3 ass graphics.
Dude, that's PS3? I was thinking like PS2.
I was being generous. I was being real generous.
I wasn't sure, like I couldn't tell the difference between the octagons and the polygons because it was just such a bad resolution.
Yeah, and the frame rate alone made my eyes bleed. But it's such a fuck. The reason this is so weird, I think, is that they must have had something else planned for the end of the show that might have gotten leaked beforehand.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it really could have been, but it seems like something was missing there at the end of the show, because right after Vin Diesel was done talking and they were done saying, like, oh, this 4-minute trailer that we're not going to show for the movie that we actually wanted to see.
That was such a tease, by the way.
They were like, all right, Game Awards are over, bye. And the cameras are like panning around, like, oh, thank you for watching the Game Awards. And, yeah, so Fast and Furious Crossroads is coming out in May 2020, which is really soon.
That's coming out in May?
In May, dude. It's definitely to coincide with the movie. I think the movie's coming out in May as well. But
God, I hope the movie looks nothing like that game.
I hope that the movie, like, just besmirches the name of the game. Just like, has the game in the movie and is just like, you know? I don't know. I'm being harsh on it. It could be like the best racing game ever. Just looks like garbage, you know. Like
I guess.
It doesn't look like garbage, but you know, one of the best racing games ever. Mario Kart 8 came out like 4 or 5 years ago. So
see, I'd have to say Need for Speed Underground 2 is one of the best racing games ever. Also on PS2, which looks like garbage.
That's a better comparison to make, and I really actually think that if you put Need for Speed Underground 2 and this game together, you just splice those images, you're going to find that Need for Speed Underground 2 looks a hell of a lot better. Also
probably has better car customization.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, has been our show this week. Thanks for joining us, talking about the Game Awards and State of Plays and all this crazy news, getting us all hyped for 2020.
Hell yeah.
Right before Christmas. I'm like, oh man, next Christmas is going to be dope.
Right before we
lose
all our money.
I'm so disappointed with all of the presents that I'm going to get this year because they're not going to be half as good as the shit I'm going to get next year. So, please like, comment, subscribe, and share the hell out of this because we love you. And one more every week, I'll take that.
Oh, yeah,
17 subscribers sounds good to me. So,
hell yeah.
We'll catch you next time. Peace.
Peace.